It always comes to this. More nice shit. So, I'm back again. I will do the tattoo progress update this time, I promise. I should start every one of these videos, as I said last time, with a farewell address or a sort of disclaimer that if I show up dead, I did not suicide myself. I have no will to die, and I did not specifically disobey any community guidelines. I'm just putting all that up there, just in case it's revealed later that that's the case. I don't want that association. So, if you haven't been watching these videos in sequence, that may seem strange to you, but I have, in the last 6 months, been canceled on 2 platforms, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened here as well. So, if you do enjoy these videos, you know, maybe savor them while they last, because who knows when you've seen me for the last time on your screen. Fortunately for me, the message that I have been trying to communicate to the community over the last bunch of years has largely been received, and I don't think that you can kill the idea as easily as you can kill the man. And so when I went searching for this topic the other day, I found my name all over the fucking internet. And it wasn't even so much that I cared about that. I see myself on Reddit forums. I had a lot of people bashing me, bashing my wife, bashing my son. These people are always very classy individuals. But what I was impressed with was just the amount of discussion there now is on multi-layer tattoos and color on black and white on black, all these things. When I started making these videos, that was not happening. And people will say, oh, Lucky Dime Rich. And no, because Lucky Dime Rich was a fucking recluse, and his artist is a dickhead. I've had a few interactions with that guy, and those two were useless to the industry, and it inspired nothing. It inspired more secrecy. So if I had anything at all to say about that project, it's that not only was it not productive for anyone, it was probably counterproductive, because all that did was further secrecy and gatekeeping in the community. 2 things that I have done nothing to further, and if anything, have tried to abolish, which is why I've given all of this information freely to anyone who wants it. And you know, it's been a mixed bag for me, what I've gotten out of this. I've gotten a lot of you know, I've gotten praise for it, which it could stroke an ego if that was the intention. But for me, it's like, I would be doing this anyway. May as well, you know, try and do something valuable with it to the community. The problem is that in this industry, it is mostly that people are out for themselves. It's almost always the case that just because the industry's winning doesn't mean I'm winning. And you see that even in tattoo shops where, especially in like a chair rental type deal, where it's like, I don't give a fuck what Joe made. If I make money, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if the shop's failing. As long as I'm lining my fucking pockets with gold, doesn't really matter. That's a very common mindset in tattooing in general. There's a lot of like, I only win if I win. It doesn't matter if the team wins. And that kind of pushes out further into the community abroad. So it doesn't really matter if Paul can have a neck tattoo like this over black because Remy has one, you know? That would be like me going, it won't work for you. It can't work for you. This will only work on me because I have magic skin, which is what a lot of hack tattooers have pushed. Like, oh, don't tell people that will work, Remy, because not everybody has your skin tone. No, you're just a fucking dickhead and you're pretty lazy. That's what you are. We do this shit on people all the time here. If I hear that one more time, if I could do it, I would reach through the phone and strangle the fucking guy who said that. That's not a thing. Almost any skin tone this would work on. You would be finding the exception to the rule. That is not the rule. I'm not the exception to the rule. The idea that it wouldn't work on someone because of their skin tone is the exception to the rule. You just don't want to do the work, or you're worried that your client won't be patient enough or have the money to do it. Those are valid things to say. Saying I have magic skin is fucking nonsense. By now, my skin should not be taking this way. Okay, this is not my third sleeve. This is not my third layer. The people who are like, oh, Remy, he's on his third. It's like, no. All of this has been tattooed ad nauseum. Fucking 20 times over, most likely, in every spot. Look at my elbow. Look at that. You think that's good to tattoo? It's a fucking chunk of scar tissue in there. And callus. It still takes ink. Not well. But like every part of me has been fucking run over a million times, and I'm to be told that I have this amazing skin. Like I'm some fucking 18-year-old, fucking lily white virgin that just fucking got his first tattoo. I've been basically run over by a truck. If there was an equivalent of roadkill made manifest as a fucking human, that would be my skin. And it works. So if it's working on me, I would imagine it's going to work on a, fresh canvas, just blacked out once or twice. Pretty fucking easy. Just saying. And people will be like, oh no, it's all about the melanin in your skin. I'm not whiter than most people either. So that's not a valid excuse either. There's people whiter than me. They're all over the fucking... This guy came in the other day, pasty as fuck. He was as white as that fucking sink over there, or this curtain. There's a lot of people out there that have never seen the sun these days. They live in basements and write stupid comments on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I'm sure I'm going to get some on here. But the longer I do this and the more the layers get stripped away, the less I give a fuck. So, it's obviously already very salient that I had another session here, and I should probably talk a little bit about it. I've been a little bit sick the last couple days, but I had a 6.5 hour session anyway, and I felt the pain a little more than I normally would. I feel like when I am sick, and I'm not sick often, but the times I have been sick and I've been tattooed, or recovering from sick and been tattooed, I feel like my pain receptors are a little higher than normal. And to me, like, none of that ever matters because this shit always hurts anyway. And I'm going to push back on another little thing that I get a lot of, like, people who are like, oh, well, it will just hurt more when you get older. And it's like, yeah, it hurts more anyway. It hurts more all the time anyway. What are you telling me right now? It doesn't, none of that matters because it's all mental. Like, I was sitting there when we were, like, hammering in color to my ditch, and it's swelling up to the size of a fucking, like, grapefruit in here. And he's got to push down my skin so that he can saturate the light blue in there. And it's like, yeah, that feels terrible. But it doesn't matter because most of that is in your head. Like, it's one of those things where I decided that I wanted to do all of these roses, all of the color again in one day because I wanted to. And then it's like, it doesn't really matter if it hurts too much. It's just... you're doing it anyway. There's no option of what if I don't do it. It's just you're doing it. Like it's like people don't understand the amount of power there is in just going, oh, I'm going to do that. And most people never exercise that power. But you do have that ability. I wasn't born with a like over full amount of like pain tolerance or like I just don't feel it or something. And I don't think that anyone can quantify willpower either, because it's more or less theoretical. Like, how do you chart willpower? So it's not like you could say I was born with an inordinate amount of willpower either. That's a muscle like anything else, and I've just worked mine hard. I've worked my mental strength more than my physical strength. If I was as strong physically as I am mentally, I would be some fucking Greek god and I'd be making fitness videos, for fuck's sake. Which is ironic because a lot of the times those guys hate getting tattooed. So it just goes to show you that physical and mental strength are not correlating usually. Usually you'll have the biggest, toughest fucking looking guy and he cannot sit for more than 10 minutes. I've seen that a lot. I'm not saying that's always the case. And I'm also not saying that if I were ever to get that size myself, that would be the case. But it is an interesting thing to see. With that said, talk a little more about this. We did some of the black again. We only did that 2 weeks ago, like the shading around here, because some of it was a little thinner than I wanted it to be. But I heal really, really quick, and I've had some people push back on that, like everybody heals the same rate. Blah, 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 blah. No, then that's fucking nonsense. I heal very, very quick, so we hit that. It was fully healed in like 3 or 4 days, so it was very easy to come back and do that again. The swelling is already coming down in this, but my ditch swelled up like fucking crazy. I didn't have a bend in my arm for a little while because, you know, it's a lot of color packing. And, yeah, we did the ditch. It was the third last one. We did the hand last. We started with the big boy. The big boy took around 2 hours on his own. And when we originally approached this, as I mentioned a couple videos ago now, we were only planning on doing the light blue and the purple in it. But because we got into the purple, and it was very clear that the red wasn't fully saturated in some places, which shouldn't be a surprise. It was only done once. Terry thought that the black was going to come through too much over time, so he figured he may as well just do all of it again. And then we took what we expected to be a 4-hour session and turned it into a full day session, basically. We started working on it at 9:45-ish, and including little breaks for bathroom breaks and stuff like that, we were done around 4:30. So, you know, good day. Terry's a really fast tattooer, so we got a lot of work done. But it was a long sit, and it was a good sit. But as I said, being sick, I probably felt it all a little more than I normally would. And not complaining. I think sometimes when it hurts more, it's important to feel it anyway. Because those are those things that, you know, that's where you work your mental strength. When you're feeling the pain more, lean into the pain. Don't run from it. Then those are the moments when you need to feel it more. When it feels very meh for me, and there are days when I barely feel it, then it's like I'm thinking about everything. You know, I'm meditating on life overall. I'm, you know, doing other things mentally. But when it's feeling the worst, that's when I've actually trained myself to study the pain the most and find your kind of ability to deal with misery and suffering. And that shit makes you better at life in general. That shit makes you not flip out when things go wrong, because you've gotten good at dealing with things feeling wrong, right? And so many people have no ability to do that, that when they see someone with a fucking mustache in their nose, their brain just can't. It just can't. I've never seen something that offended me this way. It's like, yeah, because you're soft little bitch and you haven't done enough life. You haven't lived enough. You haven't experienced enough. And life hasn't taken enough from you. So any little thing that comes across your screen triggers you. It's like, you need to lose more. People need to lose much more. People need to suffer much more. That's how you figure out how strong you are. That's what keeps tattoos from hurting too, ironically. The less you suffer overall, the more it sucks to suffer. And so that's where, when I find things feel more intense, I choose to pay more attention to them, because you can learn from that. You can get better from that. You can't get better from putting those feelings away and never dealing with them. That will make you worse. And that's not just in tattoos, that's in life in general. Whenever you're feeling something painful, it's good to figure out, you know, how to deal with that, not run from it. And that's what people choose to do most typically. Now, anyway, so we're in a bit of ranty mood today, obviously, and I don't really care. We're going to be doing another session on my arm soon here. We're going to do some of the red velvet again. All of the red velvet again, in between all the black that we added. And I'm going to have some high points of red velvet in here as well. And then I think I have a little bit of work to do on my neck to get it, say the purple and the light blue and all that, probably the red. So probably another couple hours on my neck. And then after that, we'll finally be starting my back piece. And and whether or not I'm making YouTube videos at that time, because who knows, cancel culture could get me here too. I'll be documenting that whole huge project. But even if my YouTube goes down, I'll still be doing this. I was working on this all before social media, and I'm feeling I'll be working on it long after social media. And you just gotta do what you love, I guess. Whether people want to fuck with that or they don't, I guess you just gotta do what you want, and the rest will work itself out. All right, well, in case I go missing, it's been real. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.